T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to the Play It By Ear podcast. The podcast where the topics may vary because, hey, we play it by ear. And now your hosts, Eric Fiskus, Brady Liming, and Todd Griffin.
What is that?
Hamster style. I won't do hamster style anymore.
I thought it was cat. I thought you were pawing at something.
I'm not Sir Purr.
Or Miss Hiss.
We were poking fun at the Carolina Panthers mascot. Nothing wrong with the mascot, but we were just laughing that his name was Sir Purr, according to his jersey.
Episode 174 of the Play It By Ear podcast. I just saw your banner there, Todd. Lover of chili.
Oh,
Sans celery.
that's right. No wet hair in my chili, thank you.
Whoops.
It's
Yeah.
it's not noticeable.
Every once in a while you'll get a chunk that is. But celery, it's odd because celery, for no more of a taste than it has, it colors the taste of the chili. It makes it. I think it knocks down like any kind of like spice and
It
sweet
makes it
spice.
taste too fresh.
Yeah, it's like I don't want my chili to taste like rain.
Makes it taste too fresh. What does that mean?
Chili shouldn't taste fresh. It should have some bite to it. It shouldn't taste like a
Yes.
morning mist.
Yes. It should have a slightly canned taste to it. If it tastes too fresh,
Yeah.
the individual
Hence-
ingredients pop.
Hence why chili is one of the only foods that's better each day after you make it for the first time.
Amen.
Until
About
it's time
day
to throw it
3
away.
is prime chili consuming.
It's like it's okay, good, great, awesome, slop.
And then
Throw it away.
hospital.
We have 7 people in the room. One has checked in. Hello, Savannah.
Hey, Savannah.
Savannah.
I assume John is close by somewheres. I don't know if he's tends to be on another platform. One's on YouTube and one's on some other platform, Facebook or whatever. But anywho, if you'd like to check in, please do so. If not, Lumiere in the shadows. It's all good. All right. Like I said, episode 174 is where we are. And I believe we have... Go ahead.
What happens if so when I'm using my tablet, I think I told you I can't see the cameras and the comments at the same time. I mean, it's like in the background, I can see us, but we're behind like a screen looking like what happens when I hit chat, there's nothing there, but it says join the chat. So if I hit that chat, I can then type. Is that what it is?
I don't know what it looks like on a tablet. I've only seen it on a computer, a PC.
What's the difference between comments and chat?
Well, chat is between us. There's private
okay.
chat.
Yeah.
Comments are what people are putting on YouTubes and Facebooks and
Yeah.
Twitches and all that.
Twitch.
Weird.
Hello, Samantha. lavish.
Man, thank you.
Well, thank
Samantha
you.
is always a hair noticer. It makes us
She
feel good.
is.
Thank you. It looks like
Yeah,
we've
but-
all recently had our ears lowered.
Yes, I had mine did last night.
We didn't do it together. This wasn't a team haircut.
No. See, and my issue is here, and my headphones obscure the fact that I have a horrible cowlick, like right
Oh
here.
yeah.
And
Where
the
did
hair
that
sticks
term
up.
come from?
And
Well, my
Who was
my
the
head
poor
has been
sap
licked
who
by
got
many-
licked by a bovine?
As I was saying, I have several bovine slurps. You get like one going one way, one going the other, and then I've passed those on to my son because he has the same thing. It's unruly.
I mean, it's to the point where I'm almost ready just to shave my hair and start over.
Well,
I don't
what's
know. Would that do the trick? I mean, if I did that, would that get rid of the
No.
cowlicks?
No, it won't. But what'll happen if you get down below, if you get neath the lick, you could at least not see it. You know what I mean? You can get down where it's. But once your hair grows, I'm saying this like I'm a hair expert, but once your hair grows back out beyond the lick, then it's back.
So it's a problem with the roots, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so.
Get it depilatory. Take it out of the roots.
Well, and my other problem is I think, and maybe this is TMI. I mean, I have a CPAP that I wear at night. Obviously, I also wear a chin strap. So unless I do or I don't wear the chin strap, my mouth opens up and my mouth gets dry, and so I keep my mouth closed and have the CPAP on. I look real attractive at night, by the way.
I'm gonna say, man, you walk into that room, you're bound to get all tripped up and trip wires.
Staring at my head gear.
Like
So-
you walk in that room and it looks like Pee Wee Herman's breakfast mechanism, like it just.
So, something like that. Anyway, I think the chin strap, which lays right where that cowlick is, I think has caused it to become unruly, more so unruly than it was before. So, and I had my my previous haircut to this one, the stylist tried to deal with that cowlick, but was very unsuccessful in doing so.
Yeah.
Discipline that bovine.
All right, so yeah, that
We
was
missed you too, Chris.
Well, if that doesn't draw them in, nothing will. Hey, Chris,
exactly.
we've missed you as well.
Chris also said, Samantha said she doesn't want to sound creepy, but thinks you have a great smile, Brady.
Thank you, Samantha.
Goodness,
Man, she is delicious.
We need-
And I needed that. I'm feeling needy about my appearance today. So thank
we need
you.
more Samanthas in this world.
We do.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, we do. Samantha says, it sounds like the solution is shaving it, wear a CPAP or headphones everywhere.
That's right.
You feel like Darth Vader coming in the hallway.
Look.
How long before the kids deemed you principal chin strap if you did that?
Well, it wouldn't take long. All right.
Getting
So,
old is fun, folks.
not for the faint of heart, by the way. Speaking of old, and I feel as though my childhood is passing me by here, and I obviously I'm sure we've all heard about Pete Rose and his passing, and you have, and I saw something on Facebook today. Joffy Joffer and what was John Amos's name in Coming to America? Pass away within 19 days of each other.
Yeah.
Cleo McDowell, yes. Joffy Joffer and Cleo McDowell pass away within 19 days of each other. Then you have Pete Rose, and it's just
Big
Chris
Samantha
Christopherson.
combo.
Chris Christopherson. Yes, and it's been
Matumbo. I forgot to keep it.
yeah,
Dikembe
Dikembe
Mutombo.
Mutombo. Yeah, he was kind of outshadowed there by Pete Rose on the same day, and maybe in some form or fashion. But we
Yeah.
won't get into the or maybe we will get into the debate of where Pete Rose should be as far as being enshrined in the Hall of Fame. But
No, we won't, because there's no debate.
well, I don't think there's a debate to it. But
So we win. It's our podcast.
right,
Yes.
So no, in all seriousness, though, I was thinking when you just said that, I hadn't thought about Dikembe Mutombo passing away on the same day as Pete Rose, and obviously, in the sports world, Pete Rose is, but to a lot of us, Dikembe Mutombo kind of represents an NBA game that is long past.
yeah, the man who plays with his back to the basket.
Yes, yeah, and
The center, the big man.
And it's kind of like, when you think back, the last time I can remember something like that happening is Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett passing away the same day. And obviously Michael Jackson's death, I think they passed away the same day. I'm pretty sure they passed away the same day.
They did.
And, Eric is frozen.
Am I frozen or can you hear me?
I can
I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
I don't know. My screen is blank on my end. I'm going to try to leave the studio and come back.
You look very still. There he's gone. Just the two
He's
of us,
gone.
Brady.
He's gone. Here he comes again. He's going to make his
Yeah.
big entry. We should yell
Yeah.
"ta-da" or surprise when he.
No,
I
I can hear you. I just no one can see me. I'm being stealthy, I guess. I don't
like
know.
John Cena, man.
Yeah, before it was frozen. Now it's just black.
Black, paint it black. All right, now I'm going to totally leave the studio and come back. So
Get out of the studio.
carry on, gentlemen. Carry on.
All right. Now we can make fun of his chin strap.
Yeah. Can you believe the guy wears a chin?
Come on.
So, but while Eric is getting ready to reemerge, hope everybody was safe from the hurricane. That was some craziness, man.
That was my next
Locally.
thing. Like, obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone, affected by the hurricane and just a rough week all around. I mean, lots of celebrity deaths, lots of
Tragedies,
and
world
So
disorder.
maybe tonight we can bring a little joy into
Yeah,
your
I don't-
world.
Yeah, I don't know if you all mentioned Bree Benjamin, who used to be kind of a guest on our podcast off and on. She lives down in North Carolina and had caught some of that flooding, I think.
Yeah. Bree, hope you and the family are doing well. Hang in there. I don't know that she listens anymore, but if you would happen to catch this, then hope you guys are doing well. And certainly we're pulling for everyone who's struggling down in that area.
It was the strangest thing ever, man, because I was in Orlando when the hurricane hit and it was way worse in Ohio, from where I was, which was so strange. So, it's just an odd thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chris also said one of the guys from American Pickers also
Yes,
passed
I was
away.
getting ready to say that. Yes. So he passed away, yesterday, right? So that was the
Yesterday.
same day. It's-
Terrible.
So Chris also says a hot take here. He thinks Pete should not be in the Hall of Fame. Now, okay, Chris, I want to ask for some clarification here. Do you think he should not be in the Hall of Fame, or do you think his family should tell baseball to piss up a rope if they do try to put him in the Hall of Fame? Because those are two different things.
Right.
I mean,
Once you bring in the rope pissing,
I could tell you this. Whenever I've gotten angry, I've never thought about urinating on binder's twine or anything. I wonder where that goes with where did the cowlick come from?
yeah. Well, I saw, I saw here yesterday an interview with Pete Rose, and they asked him if about the thought of being inducted after he passed, and he wasn't big on it. He kind of said that what's the point at that point?
Right.
So if those were his wishes,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that. That was an ill-timed laugh because I decided I was going to look up origin of go piss up a rope. And the first site that comes up is
No.
origin of go piss up a rope and the H in Jesus H Christ.
What?
So you've never heard someone say Jesus H. Christ?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
So this guy asked a question. He said, "What's the origin of go piss up a rope and the H in Jesus H. Christ?" See, I always assumed, and here we go.
Here
I-
you go.
I always assumed the H meant holy, like Jesus,
me too.
holy Christ. I mean,
I thought it was Howard.
I'm trying to see if there's a decent answer here.
It's hibiscus.
Hibiscus.
If you're fancy, it's hibiscus. If you're a hillbilly like me, no hibiscus.
All right. Piss up a rope, according to the Free Dictionary, is to do something totally pointless, fruitless, or futile, to waste someone's time doing something that will not or cannot come to pass.
It actually did pass right on the rope.
So
How about- So, you were going to say?
well, so I guess that's so that's why the saying's not piss down a rope, because you could piss down a rope.
Yes. Yes.
Well, you could piss up a rope too. I mean, eventually gravity's going to take hold, but
I think that's what they're kind of getting at, because if you're whizzing up a rope, you're going to get some of the said whiz on you, so it becomes not only a waste of time but messy incident.
I
If
think
you're
it depends on.
peeing down a rope,
I think it depends on how far you are away from the rope.
we're going to turn this into a full-blown physics problem
No,
here
I'm
in a moment.
seriously,
Yeah.
I think it depends on the angle and how far you are away from the rope. And
The pitch and the
technically,
yaw.
even if the rope has any
Pitch.
incline to it at all, you're technically pissing up it. Agreed? That's
True.
geometry.
These are facts.
If
Yeah.
if the trend line is going at any point in time northeast, then you are indeed pissing up the rope.
Yeah, and now pissing in the wind.
Well,
That's what
that's
it's
that's
for.
totally futile. That matter of fact, that's something that can be terribly an awful thing for you if you do that. Like if you were outside on Friday and you pissed into that wind, I mean,
Oh yeah.
probably wouldn't have been good. Although I wasn't down here, I'm not sure how bad the wind was. I just heard stories. I was up in Ashland, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm a science teacher. Brown
I would-
County Airport reported 69 mile an hour was the heaviest gust.
I would
Which is
say,
actually harder than it was in Wilmington at the weather service. It was only 67 up there.
I'm going to go ahead and call it. It is easier to piss up a rope than it is to piss into the wind. But what would be impossible would be pissing up a rope in the wind. Well, depending on which way the wind's blowing, I guess. Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Probably.
So this is what we have to get back to, gentlemen. We have to get back to just overthinking the crap out of every single thing we say. That's kind of what we
Opine.
learned. Yeah.
We've done far less opining lately.
Yeah.
We need to. I agree. We need to get back to that. John, welcome. He said he heard
Hey,
the
John.
12th green at Augusta is gone. I mean, it ain't there. Dame Maggie Smith as well passed
Professor
away.
McGonagall. Yeah.
Chris says on our question for clarification, rope full flow piss is what his family should say. Also says, I've seen a few autograph inscriptions Pete signed before he passed saying I was one translator away from being in the Hall of Fame. Of course, in response to Shohei Ohtani and his translator taking the fall for that little gambling scheme.
Yeah.
Of course, I guess technically it was a lifetime ban. So I mean, if you want to get right down to it, he's.
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
Yeah.
Andrea, I will say hello to you, even though you didn't say hello to me. But
yeah,
it's
like there's not three of us sitting here. Come on,
Now maybe she's just
Brady already
on
got the
my
smile compliment.
right. But maybe you and I should leave, Todd, and just let Brady do this show because
Brady
everyone
has
seems to have taken a shine to Brady Liming today.
Brady
I'd be
is
like putting
playing
that
by
music
your
in the
podcast,
background. Wham, wham.
starring Brady and his barcodes.
I knew it was coming. I was waiting for it. Oh yay!
Is that like a Wilford and Brimley's?
Yeah.
Start.
All right, Savannah wants to give us an update. Little Pete is doing very well. Spunky Ornery loves to smack anything that moves. He also loves cuddles. That's in my little Pete, named after my father. So I'm glad to hear that he is ornery, just like my father was. Yeah, John, we talked about Dikembe right before you came in the room. It's been a hard week for our childhoods. And thank you, Andrea. Hello,
Thank you,
too.
Andrea.
All right, so
That's a pity hello right there.
yes, it is.
Thank you, Andrea. We appreciate it.
All right, so we've pissed away, back to that whole pissing thing, 21 minutes now, talking about urinating up ropes and such. So I guess we ought to get to the real business of tonight. And I think we have a bracket to finish. Is that correct?
We do. For those, you want me to go?
Yeah.
The floor mine? Okay.
The floor is yours.
All right. So we have been, for many weeks, we have been going through this TV sitcom bracket. And we are in the, Eric, I'm not good at this. We're into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We're in the Sweet 16. So without further ado,
I do.
I'm going to go ahead and start in the A region. We have Modern Family, folks. Its pathway to the Sweet 16 was it beat a strong number 1 seed, Friends. By the way, Modern Family was a 16 seed. And obviously it was facing the number 1 seed. And it defeated That 70s Show to get to the Sweet 16. And Modern Family is going up against Sanford and Sons, which defeated a very weak Taxi, and then defeated a very weak Cotter. Welcome back, Cotter.
Mr.
Sanford had a
Cotter.
pretty easy pathway. We got to be honest. Sanford and Sons had a pretty easy pathway to the Sweet 16. So Modern Family versus Sanford and Son.
Well, it's in Sanford and Son. Not only that, but got to face shows from within its own time period.
True.
Which is not the case in a lot of these situations here.
Right. I think in Modern Family, close enough with That 70s Show. I mean, maybe a little. I don't exactly know the complete time frame of that, but you're right. I mean, there's some of these we'll see had to compete against either shows way before or way after. I know what I'm going with on this, folks, but I'm going to wait.
I am going to go. This is probably going to be shocking because, Sanford and Son is part of my childhood in youth-dom, but I like Modern Family more. It makes me laugh more. Modern Family was just kind of a different cat when it came out. And it's going to get my vote begrudgingly. Sanford and Son still has the best theme song. Right.
I'm kind of where you are, Brady.
Mm-hmm.
It's begrudging is a good word.
I'm not liking this, but
no. I will hold my nose, and I will vote for Modern Family. And I do agree. Whereas Sanford and Son is quip based, Modern Family is situation based, and I think I favor the situation based comedy a little bit more so than the quip based comedy.
yeah.
So I'll go Modern Family.
I'm going to disagree with you guys. Not disagreeing, but my vote is different. I'm going Sanford and Son. Modern Family is funnier. Sanford and Son, I just can't shake that classic. It's just got a nice coating of classic.
Agreed. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah, if this were a funniest show bracket, I think I would pick it.
I still go back to the famous when Ed O'Neill, the episode where he's in the locker room and he accidentally butts with somebody else in the locker room and they call it the moon landing. Kills me, man.
All right. So we've got 2-1 with us for Modern Family. There's 4 for Modern Family with the 2 Browns. Got 4-2. Sanford and Son gets a vote there. 5-2 with Samantha's vote. 5-3 with John's vote. So Modern Family currently up 5-3. I think we've got 7 people in the room, so maybe everyone voted. Except for Andrea. Would you like to vote? She had asked if we watched Survivor. I do not watch Survivor.
I used to.
I haven't watched it since like the first or second season.
I made it to season 5 or 6, and then it kind of, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it just got, I was ready to move on.
Yeah.
I don't like their counting of seasons, first of all. So there's that.
Kind of like Dancing with the Stars. Like
You haven't been on 41 seasons. You've been on 20-some years.
Yeah.
Are we ready to call it?
Call it.
I believe so, yep.
All
Modern
right.
Family it is.
MF. All right.
MF.
Next up, we have South Park, the 14 seed. South Park defeated very strong Parks and Recreation in the first round.
Yeah.
And then it defeated Happy Days in the second round. So now it's ready to compete against Andy Griffith. That somehow, some way defeated a stellar Night Court.
Still salty about the Night Court.
I am. And then it had an easier matchup in the second round. I think it beat Martin in the second round. So we have Andy Griffith versus South Park.
I am going down to South Park to have myself a time. There's just no, South Park it is. It's one of my all-time favorite shows. It's still relevant and funny.
I will throw out the term I've thrown out, I believe, the past 2 weeks that we've talked about, Ange. Poignant. Andy Griffith is not funny. Andy Griffith is poignant. Andy Griffith teaches a lesson. Not funny. That's why I also am going down to South Park to have myself a time.
I'm kind of going backwards of what I went before when I said.
I was gonna say you're about to go against yourself here.
No, yeah, well, in a way, I actually think South Park is better and funnier than Andy Griffith in this case. So that's a little different, but to kind of your poignant comment there, that South Park all day. I'm ready to write it in before I even say
Look at that.
I think it's going to be a sweep. Samantha
Yep.
South Park, Chris South Park, Brown South Park times do. I think that's probably no, although we have 9 people in the room now. Andy Griffith, 10 now. Andy Griffith or South Park. Those of you who just joined us, that's the matchup.
Yep. Again, just to go over the seeds again, South Park was the number 14 seed. Criminally.
Thank you for that, John.
Can't read that one, John.
Yeah, we can't read that one out loud, but oh my gosh, I lose track of how much I quoted.
Well, I was just saying, to me, South Park being the 14 seed is ludicrous.
It is.
Andy Griffith was the 2 seed in this region. I don't know about that.
Just about as ludicrous as Modern Family being a 16 seed, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which gets me back to these brackets we do and who does this seeding. But
well, check this out. So in this region, in the A region, we had Modern Family, the 16 seed, which we all agree is ridiculous. Night Court, the 15 seed. Come on.
Yeah.
And South Park, the 14 seed.
So
Now, Welcome Back Kotter was 13. So it takes 3 seeds, like 3 seeds from the bottom before you actually get one that I think deserves the lower seed. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
So here's the way I think this should be measured. If we could go back and reseed this, just to get off on a little tangent here, any show that has warranted another iteration of itself, Night Court, for example, there's an iteration of that on Peacock. Is it Peacock? And some of these other shows, like Cheers into Frasier, a spinoff. I mean, if you have a spinoff that did reasonably well, that makes that show worthy of a single digit seed, at least.
I agree. Yeah.
Alice in Flo's place.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry.
what are we doing? Oh, I already put South Park down. We're ready to move on, right?
Yeah, we're ready to move. Yeah, it was a sweep.
Okay. B region. Number 1 seed Seinfeld defeated a criminally underseeded Alf 16 seed. And then it defeated the 9 seed Full House to get to the Sweet 16. And Seinfeld's going up against Three's Company. Three's Company got there by way of defeating Cosby Show in the first
this is a brutal region.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
And then it defeated Frasier in the second round to get to the Sweet 16. So we have Seinfeld versus Three's Company.
I think you guys are knowing. Oh, as a man who rocks a Regal Beagle T-shirt from time to time, Three's Company made me laugh as a kid, but Seinfeld is more. It's going to be tough, but I'm going to have to go Seinfeld. And this is one I don't like either. This is one I don't like to have to choose because those are 2 of my favorites. Eric.
You know this podcast is about nothing. Seinfeld is about nothing. So I guess in a way we are kindred spirits of sorts.
You beat me to the punch, sir, because I was about ready to say, if it not for Seinfeld, we might not be here doing what we're doing.
It's true. It's true. On the other hand, Three's Company was groundbreaking.
Oh, yeah.
There had never been another show like that
Still has
before. Yeah, to an extent.
To an extent, yeah.
But definitely push some boundaries, no, without a doubt. I will always say my type of humor leans toward the Seinfeld type of humor. So again, begrudgingly, and as a nod to our own podcast, I will vote Seinfeld.
All right. So Seinfeld came out in 1989, 1990, around there.
Something like that.
So I would have only been, 12, 13. And while I will admit right along with you guys that our podcast, our humor, is very similar to Seinfeld but I don't know that Seinfeld shaped it. I can't say Seinfeld shaped it. I didn't really watch it back then. So I was actually going to say I feel like a lot of that, my sense of humor, which a lot of it came from you guys, being influential, being a young punk that lucked into having some older friends that were good people, that didn't steer me in a wrong direction, but also kind of shaped a lot of my sense of humor.
Good sophisticated sorts.
Yeah, I actually don't. I don't know. I think that I think the groundwork was laid before Seinfeld, or at least early on in Seinfeld, before Seinfeld became the juggernaut that it would eventually be. So I can't necessarily say that if it weren't for Seinfeld, there would be no Us. I think I'm going Three's Company. I go back with that and trust me, Seinfeld's a classic. But I think I'm having a hard time getting out of my head nostalgia-wise. You know what I mean? Like especially shows like Three's Company, that when I started watching them, I kind of felt like I shouldn't be for multiple reasons. Like kind of like Robin Williams when I was a kid. I didn't understand or get a thing he said. I didn't, I didn't get his humor. In fact, I think married before.
Mr. Pliers.
I think I was married before I got Robin Williams' humor. And so, but they have a special place kind of in my memory, those shows. Sanford and Son, Three's Company.
Yeah.
Again, and when I went back and rewatched them once I got older, they held up still. So that's kind of what I'm going with. So I'm going with Three's Company.
All right. So I'll put this comment at first of all because I'm in favor of that. In the future, any brackets should have the seating reviewed by me for accuracy.
There you
I
go.
will reseat accordingly. Even though he said ficus instead of fiscus. So we have the Browns.
Very medical.
Browns, Three's Company times 2. So there's 3 votes for Three's Company, 2 for Seinfeld. Make that 3 for Seinfeld with Chris, 4 for Seinfeld with John Barney. Samantha only says this is difficult, but she has not yet made a vote.
The jerk store called and they're fresh out of you.
Samantha, what do you think? Oh, Three's Company, she says.
How many's in the rune? 1, 2,
7.
7. We lost a few.
Drop some.
Yeah.
So
Wow, we have a tie.
we do.
The missus said she'd be listening tonight, but I don't see her, so she must have lied.
Liar.
She's in her classroom working as usual.
So then is the tiebreaker the conglomerate vote amongst us, which is 2-1 Seinfeld?
So real quick. So Savannah's voted, Chris has voted, John has voted. There's 3 people. Samantha's voted. There's 4. So there's 3 people lingering.
Oh.
Oh, John's wife says Seinfeld.
Write-in vote.
Yep. Colleen says Seinfeld.
Okay.
So
So is that pushing it over? Is that?
I think it's been pushed.
Yeah, I think that's it.
And I will say this, and maybe this helps also. My vote with Three's Company is not I have no issue with Seinfeld going on. You know what I mean? I have no. Gary Troutman.
Gary Troutman, Seinfeld.
Yeah. And so with John's wife, is it Colleen, you said?
Yes.
And Gary's, that definitely, I'm writing it down, folks.
Yep.
Seinfeld it is.
I had to throw this out to our friend Doreen if she's listening. I always crack up that when her parents found out that she'd watched an episode of Three's Company at an aunt's house, she got grounded.
Dennis.
Dennis. Hello,
Finish.
Dennis. Seinfeld.
Chris, don't you
Yes.
apologize, but there's nothing wrong with a good old
No.
typo.
No, I'm no offense taken, Chris.
He's been called worse.
I definitely have been called worse. Probably I've been called worse today than that.
All right, so our last matchup in the B bracket, or the B region, I should say. I saw Wonder and I got excited. I'm like, oh, I don't remember Small Wonder being on here, but it's the Wonder Years. Small Wonder did not make this bracket.
Imagine that.
Feces.com.
I had a crush on the robot girl.
Because she was full of personality. Let's see what. Okay, now hold on before you go on. Now we're gonna get off on a tangent again. Small Wonder and what were the other, as Brady termed it, feces comms?
Small Wonder, Mr. Belvedere,
Oh,
the Urkel show.
no. Now wait a
Like
minute.
Mr. Belvedere, but it was on that night.
Now wait a minute. Small Wonder was syndicated. Those last two were network shows. A network show cannot be a FECICOM. There was another syndicated something or another that fell into that designation.
Well, no, because it was on Friday nights. It started at 7:30 and not 8, and it was a list of family shows like Small Wonder and Urkel, and I know that's not what it's called. I'm just going to call it Urkel, and Mr. Belvedere. And I liked Mr. Belvedere, but Mr. Belvedere did not deserve to be lumped in with that, but it was. It was
Maybe
in
in
that.
maybe in your
It was on
mind.
ABC. It was on
Maybe-
ABC.
Maybe in your
Well,
mind.
There's all kinds of shows, and I forget. So I think we talked about this. I mean, there's no Hogan family or Valerie in this bracket. There's no My Two Dads. There's
Oh,
no-
My Two Dads. I had a
That
crush
might
on
be
her.
one of 'em.
Had a crush on her.
Stacy Keenan.
Stacy Keenan. I like
Yeah, 'cause
Stacy
she was
Keenan.
also in the show with. I liked it with Patrick Duffy and.
yeah.
Patrick Duffy,
What's her
TV's
name?
Patrick Duffy.
He's Patrick Duffy, and what's her name from Three's Company?
Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne
Yeah.
Summers. That was a good show. Oh, you had Still Standing isn't on here with Jamie Gertz.
Oh,
and,
so that's a wonderful show.
the guy from the Full Monty. What else isn't on here?
I had a crush on Jamie Gertz.
Well, who didn't?
Yeah.
You had what was the show with my crush on Helen Hunt for years? What was the show? with her?
Oh,
Paul Reiser.
Was it called It Takes Two?
No, what was the show?
uh,
And that was
it
a
may-
damn good show. I mean,
it may have been It Takes Two, but
don't think
that
it
that that was not Helen Hunt's first appearance in the sitcom world. And the first one was probably before your time, Todd. And now I've got to look it up.
Mad About You, see it was
Mad
Mad
There
About
you
about
go.
you. Yeah. So
Yes,
let me.
here.
Let's
Good
see. Well, Helen Hunt was on It Takes Two, and that was the show. That was the show. That was her first. Only lasted
Well,
one season. Richard Crenna, and Patty Duke Aston, and
That Richard
Helen.
Crenna before Rambo, which
Yes.
you call hell, he goes home.
Yes. Della Reese also, and the ever famous Billy Bird was in It Takes Two.
It was the word.
Good old alliteration.
Yes.
Yeah, there's we should do a follow up. We should do a follow up to this bracket with a bracket, our own bracket. We'll let Eric handle the seating of shows that did not make this bracket but should have been on there.
Indeed.
All right. Back to what we were talking about. So we have Small Wonder versus the 2-seed Golden Girls. Not Small Wonder, the Wonder Years, my bad. the Wonder Years, wow. I just, can't get over my crush on that robot. Yeah, I mean, imagine my surprise when you go to school and the girls were nothing like that robot girl. Kind of strange. The Wonder Years and versus the Golden Girls. Golden Girls defeated It's Always Sunny, and then defeated King of the Hill.
Oh yeah.
Wonder Years got here by beating Will and Grace, and then it defeated the Brady Bunch. You guys napping or what?
So say the matchup again. I'm caught up in this list of syndicated sitcoms.
We have a podcast here, folks.
Yeah, that's what I was
Brady
looking
Bunch,
at too, Eric. I'm trying to find out what was on with Small Wonder.
Yeah.
Golden Girls defeated It's Always Sunny, rightfully so. It's Always Sunny's good, but Golden Girls is
Yeah, I know.
King of the Hill. Or I'm sorry, and then it beat King of the Hill, and then Wonder Years beat Will and Grace, and then Brady Bunch. So In my opinion, the Wonder Years had an easier route
Yes.
because the strength of It's Always Sunny. Although, well, you go back to A Different World. That was my pick for an upset in the first round. It didn't happen.
So we got Golden Girls versus Small Wonder.
I was a Kadeem Hardison fan.
Wonder Years, Brady, not Small Wonder.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I did that. I did that to you.
Yeah. So it's got to be. So I'm thinking Winnie Cooper or B. Arthur and Crushes. No, I'm kidding. This is one of the toughest ones, but I'm gonna have to go Golden Girls.
What says you, Fiscus?
The Wonder Years made me opine for my childhood. But I also think that it falls into the same poignancy bucket that Andy Griffith does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit more chuckle humorous than Andy Griffith, than Ange. But not funny. It did pull at my heartstrings a bit.
Was
At
it one of the
times.
first dramedies? Like as far as the sitcom?
It
like,
was a dramedy. It absolutely was.
Yeah. So as far as being funny, I'd have to go with the Golden Girls.
Yeah. But think about this though. We always talk about, and this because I haven't made up my mind yet, but we always talk about with the Golden Girls. There's always a debate about as to whether. I mean, that show pushed some. That show got away with a lot for its time.
Yeah.
You know. So there definitely was some groundbreakingness. Groundbreaking. It's just groundbreaking aspects to the Golden Girls. I'm struggling with this one.
It had spinoffs too. Dear John.
True. Dear John?
Yep. Because Dreyfus the dog made appearances on
Empty Nest, I think
Golden.
you're about.
Yeah.
Empty
Sorry.
Nest.
Right, you're right. Empty Nest.
But Dear John was a good show. There's one for our bracket. Judd Hirsch.
Judd Hirsch.
Who was the other guy? Who was
Which you hated in Taxi, but loved in Dear John.
Because
Would have
Taxi
been
was
better with
Mash on
Judd
Wheels.
Nelson.
No, who was the other guy in Dear
MASH
John?
was on wheels. It was a mobile hospital.
True.
And you like MASH.
I did. Like I said, I liked that episode. I rewatched it, and I need to. You know what, Celia? I think Celia's with us now for Christmas. Celia, go ahead and just because I can't find it streaming anywhere.
Oh,
And
it's
I still-
there.
we-
It's on
we still have
Pluto.
We still have a
It'll be-
DVD player. I think Pluto is where I went, and it was just like the first episode,
Yeah.
and it was all grainy and hard to watch. Like it was hard. Like it wasn't.
Well, that's because it was filmed in nice.
It's as old as me and Brady. That's why.
Yeah, it's filmed on Thomas Edison's kinetoscope.
I have to go Golden Girls because I think Golden Girls has the nostalgia, the humor, the classic vibe, and Wonder Years to me just lacked in the humor. It was as good as it was.
Yeah.
It just lacked in the humor, and I could see the characters be like I could see people being annoyed by Fred Savage.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, the kid was 13. Of course he's annoying.
Well, that's true.
13-year-olds are annoying.
That's true.
And that was among the poignancy of the show. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that's
13,
true.
you're annoying. And you're
Although
trying
I
to
thought the brother was,
find
I
your
think-
way.
I think I said this last time. I thought the brother was way more annoying.
Well, yeah. I mean, he was like,
Herbie.
But
he's
is that
like,
because I related to the younger brother?
you
Yeah.
know, probably. Looks like a clean sweep for the Golden Girls.
Did have Winifred Cooper though, so
Yeah, well, it's Samantha Golden Girls Always and Forever, Brown's Golden Girls ×2, Celia with a tough vote to the Golden Girls. John first asks if they can both forfeit and then says Betty White tips it to the Golden Girls.
yeah.
Chris takes a break from eating his cheesecake to vote for said
Well, good.
Golden Girls. So I need to go back here in these comments and ask for one more clarification. Celia, why did you hate My Two Dads? How can you hate Greg Evigan
And Paul Reiser.
and Paul Reiser?
Now I
Not-
will say, I like the cool dad better than Paul Reiser. I like the bearded, hip, tall dad.
Well, yeah, BJ. BJ definitely a better character than Paul Reiser's character.
Yeah. So I'm trying to remember. So the whole idea was, because I know it got real serious there at the end, and they had the letter in the mail from to see who was the actual dad, and they decided to rip it up and not look at it. That old chestnut. But I'm trying to remember what was the story. So they were both.
So they didn't they both have like a one night stand with the mother of the girl, and the mother of the girl died.
I think
So they-
so.
So they didn't know which one of them was the dad.
I think that's what it was.
Which is actually pretty heavy stuff to make a sitcom out of. Really, if you look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did get a little heavy there at the end. Like you said, I do remember that. They had the DNA test or whatever it is they did, the blood test probably back then. They didn't have a DNA test back in that'd been the 90s, wasn't it? Early 90s?
Yeah,
Late
yeah.
90s?
Well, it was was My Two Dads before Mad About You? Because it seems like in my memory they're around the same time. I need to look.
I think My Two Dads came first. I think it did. Wouldn't it have been
My-
something if that episode, if neither one of them was the dad, and then the
My-
sitcom would take a total spin?
My Two Dads was 87 to 90.
Oh, that was earlier than I thought.
Yeah.
Mad About You was
That Mad About You was the 90s.
92. Well, it says 92 to 2019, but I know better than that. I don't know what that's all about. 99. 92 to 99.
Wow.
What was there a revival? Was there a revival in 2019?
Could have been.
Maybe.
So, Celia, you would have been, what'd you say, 86?
Come on. Distasteful. What was distasteful about it?
Well, two guys having a one night stand with the mother. I mean, it's a little racy for 1986.
Yeah. See, you were way too young to be a Karen back then. Come on now.
Chris says Paul Reiser is like what your search results on wish you would be if you search for Jerry Seinfeld, Michael Richards. There was another actor named Paul who looked suspiciously similar to Paul Reiser, and he was on what was the name of that? It's a Living, about the waitresses.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that guy was he was a piano player named Sonny.
Paul Williams.
No.
I'll look it
no.
up. I'll look it up.
Well,
I think his name was Paul. Paul Kreppel. That's who it was. Paul Kreppel. Sunny Man. Yeah. So Chris knew it.
of course. So Paul Reiser, I think he was a love him or hate him type of actor. He's definitely played the same. He was the same in everything he was in.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He didn't have a whole lot of acting chops beyond his.
Yeah.
And his movie career wasn't. It didn't really do much.
I would be interested to know if Paul Reiser was just playing Paul Reiser, if that's the way he was just in life.
I bet he was. Helen Hunt had a much more successful movie career than Paul Reiser. What was Paul Reiser in movie wise? He was in
Was he in movies?
Huh?
I don't
Was he
think
in
he
movies?
was. If
Yes,
he did,
he
it
was
was a
in the-
bit role.
It was in the classic. What was the movie with the popcorn scene at the movie theater? The popcorn scene. Google it. I can't say it on this.
Oh, Paul Reiser was in Beverly Hills Cop. All those
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah. I gotta look him up now. I gotta look and see what that movie is now.
He was in Aliens. Diner.
Was Diner the movie I'm talking about?
I've never seen Diner. It's supposed to be a classic, but I've never seen it.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I thought for sure that he was the one in the famous popcorn bucket scene in the movie theater.
Let's see. Going down through his list of things he's been in.
Well, why don't we try the next?
I mean, come on, he was in Horse Girl in 2020. Come on. I mean, like,
Horse Girl.
and The
It's gotta be
Gutter.
a horror movie.
He was in the
He was
Paul
in
Reiser show.
Remington Steele.
He's in Stranger Things.
Wow. Yeah, wasn't Mad About You like one of those shows that like the ending got just stupid? Wasn't it a deal? Spoiler alert. Put your fingers in your ears if you don't want to hear this. But was like the end of it? They found out that they had actually gotten a divorce like years, like something. It was like or maybe they just did get a divorce. Like maybe after all that time they just like got a divorce and then, I mean, which obviously is real life, but like it seemed like the ending was kind of disappointing and rushed or something.
So the name of the show ended up being Mad at You.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Miffed About You is the remix.
Miffed. Miffed About You. All right, the C region, folks. Number 1 seed, The Simpsons, versus a strong number 9 seed, Home Improvement. Home Improvement beat The Simpsons. And so Home Improvement is our Sweet 16 matchup here with Everybody Loves Raymond. Everybody Loves Raymond defeated Living Single. Right, so. And then it defeated Bewitched. You know, Everybody Loves Raymond had a pretty easy pathway here. Living Single and Bewitched. But now we have Home Improvement versus
Raymond.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Ooh. It's rough.
Raymond by a nose hair.
Raymond because of Peter Boyle.
I mean, I thought Al Borland did great last night in the debate.
He's a knucklehead.
I thought he did great. I thought Richard Kern took it to him.
Richard Kern versus Don Rickles.
No, what did you guys pick? Did you guys both pick Ray?
Ray.
Yeah, I got Everybody Loves Raymond is one of my top 3 favorite sitcoms, so it's going to be tough to beat all around. But I will say Home Improvement was a favorite as well. But yeah, Everybody Loves Raymond.
All right, so 3 Raymonds amongst us. Got a Home Improvement. John, welcome. John Esper. Samantha also says Home Improvement.
Wow.
John Barney says Home Improvement.
Wow.
But we got a couple Raymonds from the Browns. We got Celia saying Ray. It's like Everybody Loves Raymond. Might be, although we have 12.
I agree, by the way.
We have 12 people in the room now.
Gary says my 2 dads seem like they kept filming new pilots, never got in comfortable groove. I remember that, Gary, thinking that even at a young age, like this just will not kick in. And Diane, how you doing?
Yes, she says Everyone Loves Raymond. Hello.
Yes.
Both Diana, both Todd and mine's aunt. Although
right.
Todd and I are not related. How about that?
That's
Brown County through and through.
Brian Brown, welcome. Happy birthday, by the way. I think Brian's birthday was yesterday. That 70s show, Brian, unfortunately, if you're just joining us a few weeks back, it lost. It won the first matchup against Curb Your Enthusiasm, but then lost to Modern Family. So that 70s show is no longer in the bracket, no longer competing. So did Ray win? Did everybody love Ray?
Chris with a late vote for Home Improvement just because of the soundproof box episode. I think Raymond eked it out.
All right. I'm not going to argue with that one. Next matchup, we have All in the Family versus I Love Lucy. All in the Family beat Growing Pains.
Growing pains.
And then it beat the Fresh Prince. I Love Lucy beat the Honeymooners, and then it beat Family Ties. I'm blaming Tina Weathers.
Tina Yothers.
Tina Yothers, yeah, Tina Yothers. So we have our matchup: All in the Family versus I Love Lucy.
Oh, jeez. Man.
Two groundbreaking shows.
One of them that could probably not be on right now. We've talked about that a few times. Although it's kind of sad that it couldn't be, because it touched on some very real, very.
That, I mean, holds up well today, I think.
Yeah.
I think it also we've talked. I think Brady might have pointed this out. It's a testament to how great of an actor that Carroll O'Connor was. I mean, he's like just a fantastic. He probably doesn't get much credit for his chops, but very, very good.
Also played a great Bill Gillespie in the Heat of the Night.
Yes. So hopefully we can find. It'd be nice to follow this up sometime with a drama, like a sitcom or a drama.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brady voting?
All in the Family by a smidge. I probably laughed more at Lucy as a kid, but I like All in the Family better now. So
Yeah.
I'm going with it.
Same. Although I think I've always liked All in the Family better than I Love Lucy. Although, again, two groundbreaking shows, without a doubt.
Yeah, I knew City was going to pick Lucy. I'm not a big fan of I Love Lucy. I probably wouldn't have gotten it past Family Ties. So now I'm definitely going All in the Family. Chris, good question. Let me check.
Chris asked if Married with Children was in this bracket.
Yeah.
It was not, Chris, so it definitely should be on our follow-up.
Murphy's Brown's in there, but Married with Children's not.
That is just, I don't need, what's the word for that? It's ludicrous.
I mean, you had Murphy Brown in there, some stinkers, in my opinion. You had Murphy's Brown. You had the Bob Newhart Show. You had Taxi and Welcome Back, Kotter. Mary Tyler Moore, for goodness sake. How do you not
Living
have
Single?
How do you not have Married with Children? What was the Married with Children? Like, it was kind of similar, but it was like the guy had like the imaginary rabbit, or he would talk to the rabbit.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know it was a Fox show, but I don't remember what it was called. I'll look it up.
Didn't it have a similar vibe to Married with Children?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
What about 8 is Enough?
It was an hour-long dramedy.
Yeah, say 8 is Enough is not funny. 8 is
Yeah.
Enough is in the poignant bucket.
Was that the one with the coach, the coach dad?
No, that's just the 10 of us.
The 10, that's what I meant.
Just the 10 of us.
Yeah.
But there are a couple crush-worthy daughters in that show as well in my formative years.
Way to scare off all the female guests, Eric. Or the female
Right.
guests.
Right.
We were younger back then, folks. We're talking about the old days.
Yeah, these people are
Unhappily
our
Ever
age.
After, Todd.
So did
that-
All in the Family win? What, Brady?
Oh, the imaginary rabbit sitcom was Unhappily Ever After.
As Chris just
Chris.
commented.
There we go.
You got to get up all early in the morning to beat Chris.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you had 3 votes for Lucy and 7 for All in
We're
the
all in the
Family.
family.
Counting our 3.
Yes, counting R3.
Okay. All right. So I'm.
And Chris is correct. No one wants to see Murphy's Browns.
Or Candace's Bergens.
All right, D region. We are boldly headed into the D region. So we have Cheers that defeated Brooklyn 99 or Brooklyn 99, whatever it is. And then it defeated Gilligan's Island versus Roseanne that defeated Malcolm in the Middle and then Laverne and Shirley. So we have Cheers versus Roseanne. Now, to me, this is one of the more difficult matchups.
Yeah.
Very.
I have a little easier time with this one. I like, now that I'm just guess I don't have any problem with the Roseanne show, but it just wasn't my must-see TV for me. But Cheers was. So Cheers is going to get my vote.
I saw an interview the other day where Roseanne was talking about, I guess they asked her to come back and guest star on the, her own show that they kicked her off of. She pretty much
and I was going to say, was there something about the topic we talked about earlier and ropes?
Yeah. She told him to piss up a rope and hung up. Good for her.
She told them to where they could put their loose meat sandwich.
And you know what disappoints me about that more than anything is I was a John Goodman fan.
Yeah.
Shame on him for not standing up for her and
yeah,
put him on my Richard Mark list. He wants to fight, I'll fight him. I'm very disappointed in you, John Goodman. Spineless.
Having a difficult time with this one.
Yeah, it's just tough.
I guess I will come down to the point of, and maybe it's unfair of me to, can you, and let me pose this question to the room. So when you talk about Roseanne, are we talking about the 90s Roseanne, or are we also taking into account this other Roseanne that became the Connors?
No. When Roseanne was no longer on the show, it's
well, but she was on the show at first, is what I'm saying. Is that part of Roseanne lumped in with the 90s Roseanne? Or
I think you've got to take it all. I don't think you can. I feel strong enough in saying when Roseanne was out, you cut it off at that point. But I think anything that included her, you have to figure in.
So then it becomes a question of which show reinvented itself better. Because you had the Sam and Diane thing in Cheers, and then it reinvented itself when Kirstie Alley entered the show, versus Roseanne, and Dan dies, and then he doesn't die, and then they won the lottery, and then which I think, yeah, which I do appreciate the two Beckys because they poke fun at themselves, and I always like that.
Yeah, I like that too. But I have a hard time eliminating the real life factor in all of it, which I already proved with by my Roseanne rant and my John Goodman rant. But I have a hard time, you know what I mean? I have a hard time separating the show from the people. Yeah,
agreed. But I'll even go before that. I think the lottery thing and the Dan died, but he didn't die thing, which was kind of a Bobby Ewing sort of, we lost whole season there. It jumped the shark a little bit, where I don't think Cheers did. I think Cheers, when it ended, it was still as good as it was at the beginning. So I'll go with Cheers. That's my reasoning.
Yeah. And in hindsight, you have to wonder, was that a matter of they had this hit show, they were trying everything they could to keep it meaningful, you know what I mean, and try to keep it, and they ran out of talent, the writers did. Is that how you look at that? Like somebody made some bad decisions with that.
I think Roseanne was a difficult person to work with, from what I understand.
Which I'm sure she was. And I think Roseanne is one of those people that has, like many, many people, I think with age, she has
matured.
She's become more the wiser. But I don't know. It's hard for me because Roseanne. I think I said this the last last episode. Roseanne to me felt like home, and I'm not even saying that it was, but to me it was the first show where it actually felt like, okay, this is home, or this is at me at a friend's house, where I mean, like it just had that Midwest
Familiar.
realness to it. Good and the bad. And something else that I was watching the other day, or I think that same interview, I read an article with it, and it talked about some of the topics that Roseanne tackled. And without being political, without becoming political, Roseanne was pretty much cast away, and banned from the powers that be. But back in the day, I mean, she tackled quite a bit. She tackled, women's rights. She tackled, pretty much anything that you see being talked about politically now. I mean, her show was talking about it and dealing with it, and then she just got thrown to the wolves. And I have a hard time forgiving that. Cheers to me never took itself too serious. I was not a fan of the first, the old man. Who was the old man at the beginning of the show?
Coach. You didn't like Coach?
Or Coach. I wasn't a big fan of Coach. So I think maybe I liked Woody.
It's almost sacrilegious. You didn't like Coach.
I liked Woody. I liked, obviously, Cliff.
Norm.
Man. I like Kirstie Alley. I like Shelley Long. But I'm going Roseanne.
Okay. So 2 cheers and 1 Roseanne amongst us. There's 2-2 with John Esper's vote for Roseanne. 3-3 as the Brown house is split. 4-3 cheers with Samantha. 5-3 cheers with Gary. Chris says, of course, Samantha picks cheers. This whole Ted Danson thing is out of hand.
Is there some kind of weird Ted Danson crush thing happening here,
yeah,
Chris and Samantha?
She likes Theodore Danson.
Really?
Is that, Samantha, is that your favorite iteration of CSI when Ted Danson's on there? Looking like someone's grandpa?
I'm sure he was somebody's grandpa.
Sure, he probably is.
Well,
Aunt Diane never watched Cheers, but I watch Roseanne, so I have to reluctantly say Roseanne.
Diane, Coach definitely has to be on our bracket. We do to follow this up. That was a great show.
Yes.
Who was
No, I think she was saying she loved Coach on Cheers. I think that's what she was saying.
I thought she meant the show Coach.
Well, there's that too.
That has to be on our own bracket.
With Jerry frickin' Van Dyke.
Jerry Van Dyke, Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah. Celia with Roseanne.
Oh.
I think Cheers ekes it out though, or maybe not.
So we were all what? We were all 3 Roseanne. No, I was Roseanne.
You was Roseanne. We were Cheers.
She didn't mean the show Coach.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yeah, Diane, Coach wasn't on this bracket, but it definitely will be on the one we
should have been
of our should have been shows because that was a fantastic show.
5-4 Cheers, but Chris never voted. Chris?
He's flabbergasted from the Ted Danson love that's happening here.
So I'm guessing with the Ted Danson dispute here, he would probably vote Roseanne.
Chris, if it makes you feel any better, now even though Samantha was very nice about our hair, complimenting our hair, I'm not a Ted Danson fan. So no offense, Samantha. So Chris, maybe if that makes you feel better, I am not Team Danson.
I think we may have a tie.
Oh. We might.
All right,
So we do.
It's looking that way, isn't it?
How many is in the room?
9.
9 in the room.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 voted. So I don't know who the other 3 are. Well, I know John voted. That's 7.
Is John Barney still in the room?
Well, now we have 11 in the room. So Cheers versus Roseanne. Those of you who just came in.
We are in the Sweet 16 of our bracket. We have Cheers versus Roseanne.
What do you say? What do you?
Brian Brown says that breaks the tie.
Roseanne. It does break the tie.
So let it be written.
Going once.
Going once.
Going twice.
Going thrice.
Times a ditty.
3 times a matey.
I'm writing it in.
Writing it in.
I'm using pen too. You know what that means?
Sharpie.
Roseanne. All right. Our last Sweet 16 matchup. Chris, man, we got to stick together here, Chris. King of Queens versus The Office. You know where I'm going all day long.
I think I'm going there too, Todd. I could watch King of Queens lightly anytime, and I love The Office, but I got to be in the mood for it. So I'm going against my normal grain. I'm going King of Queens.
I will piggyback off of that, and I'll say it's funny because it just happened last night. I was in the basement. I'm flipping through channels and I see King of Queens on, and I turn it on. Next thing I know, 4 episodes have gone by and I haven't gotten crap accomplished. And that happens all the time with King of Queens. I love The Office. I haven't seen every episode. I was watching it with Ethan. I'm several seasons in, but I set out to watch The Office. King of Queens, if it's on, I'm there. If I see it on. The Office is funnier.
Yeah.
But King of Queens is just great.
I've never watched The Office, as I've said on here before.
And you should, Eric. I will say that.
Well, and I think it's one of those shows I would like from all I've heard about it.
I just thought of this, and I apologize if I said this last week, and I'm sorry. This is where you were talking about shows that should be on there. I'm really upset that My Name is Earl is not on this list.
That had its moment. It definitely did. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
King of Queens, I guess, by default, since I've never really watched The Office. But
wow, King of Queens got a nice little lead here.
Yeah.
The Browns, King of Queens times 2, and Diane, King of Queens. She has also never watched The Office. So this could be a sweep.
A sweep.
Chris, Samantha.
Celia.
Chris takes Basement Artie and the King of Queens.
A hula hoop he wants.
Celia, King of Queens. Savannah asked if Family Guy was on the list. Was Family Guy?
It was not.
It was not.
It's yeah.
So how's King of the Hill on there, but not Family Guy?
Brian, King of Queens.
King of Queens is just stomped on it.
It is. And I'll be honest, that surprises me. It's a great show. Top 3 of all time for me. You had Doug, who was a great character, just lovable. You had Carrie, who was lovingly hateable. And then you had Arthur, who I thought made the show. The episode that I think I relate to the most is, I can't remember what they're having people over for, but they have people over and Arthur gets himself all bent out of shape over a visitor there, a guest at the party eating too many deviled eggs. And that just sounds exactly like keep an eye on the deviled eggs. That's a Griffin thing, by the way. My brother is one of those ones that would crack me up at a buffet, and he would if somebody took too much from the buffet and then didn't finish their plate, he would be just uncomfortable and mad the rest of the night and couldn't enjoy his meal. That's Arthur. Yeah, Chris Deacon was a very cool. It just every character was great. Gary says he picks King of Queens. King of Queens has it.
Yeah, the sweep.
One vote. Yeah. All right. That gets us through our Sweet 16. Are we going to try to finish this, or are we going to go on? What do you want? We're in the Elite Eight.
Seems like, I mean, we've broken down these shows, all of them now.
I think
I think we can get through it.
It's the speed dating part.
So you're exactly right. I've always said Ethan is an old soul. He is a Griffin through and through, and he also gets very frustrated at people taking too much at a buffet and not finishing it. And I remember sitting at Pizza Hut one time. I don't know how old Ethan would have been. I mean, they haven't had their buffet since COVID. So that's 4 years ago. So Ethan would have probably been, I'm guessing, around 12. And we're sitting there, and he just can't take his eyes off the buffet. And I'm like, son, what is going on? He's like, that man took 8 breadsticks. There's no way he could possibly eat 8 breadsticks. He was counting the breadsticks the guy had taken, and then watching to see how many he ate. So
Ethan needs fairness in the world.
That's right. So here we go. Speed Elite Eight. Back over to Region A, we have Modern Family versus South Park.
South Park.
South Park.
South Park.
So we do have a bit of a, I don't know what the lull is between us talking and people hearing us. There's a bit of a lull, so we got to give it. We can't do too speedy of dating here.
Right.
Chris, South Park. Brown, South Park, but times 2. There's a Modern Family vote by Samantha. Celia says South Park.
Oh, South Park's running away with
Brian, South
Almost
Park.
anonymous.
Ah,
All right. I wrote it in pen. It's done.
moving on.
Next up, the B region. We have this is Seinfeld versus Golden Girls. Look at Gary coming in. Gary's not to me. He didn't get persuaded by the.
And I never watched either of those.
Yeah. Diane, I know you were probably a fan of the Golden Girls, though. So this next matchup is Seinfeld versus Golden Girls. And you might have been a fan of Seinfeld as well, but
Brady?
Seinfeld.
Brady says Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I say Golden Girls.
I also say Seinfeld, but I think me and Brady are going to lose.
Yeah, I think we are. I think that's
Samantha Golden Girls, Brown's Golden Girls times 2, and Diane
3,
definitely
4.
Golden Girls.
5. It's 5-2 right now. 6-2.
6-2.
Yep.
That's not going to be overcometh.
Yep. 8 in the room.
Zeman.
Zeman.
All right, I'm putting it in a pen.
Yep.
By the way, if as we're speeding this up, if we do see like a big mass of votes coming in for a show,
If Wisconsin and Michigan report late,
yes,
We'll revisit.
yeah. If we find some ballots at 3 a.m. here, we will change it.
After the water leak.
Region C, Everybody Loves Raymond versus All in the Family.
Raymond.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
All in the Family.
Raymond.
Gary says Raymond. Samantha says All in the Family. Chris says All in the Family. Savannah Raymond times 2.
The Browns have been they've been on the same team all night tonight, I think.
No, they split once
That's right, they did.
with Cheers and whatever Cheers was up against.
Diane.
Yeah. That's what we got.
Well,
I'm All in the Family. 2, 3, 4 All in the Family. You 2 are Raymond. 3, 4, 5, 6 Raymond. So there's another
Brian
Raymond.
says Raymond.
Yeah.
Is it Raymond?
Looks like
I
Raymond.
think it is. Everybody loves Raymond.
All right. My goodness. This C and D region, folks.
Brutal.
is
Grinder.
brutal. It is. We have Roseanne versus King of Queens.
King of Queens.
King of Queens.
King of
Sorry,
Queens.
Eric. Sorry, Eric. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
They jumped out of line.
All right, 3 King of Queens amongst us. Samantha says King of Queens. Gary, King of Queens.
Yeah,
And Diane, King of Queens.
We have 2 Roseannes.
Oh. Celia, King of Queens. I think I might do it.
I can't imagine. So Samantha voted King of Queens. I can't imagine that Chris won't vote.
Yeah, we're waiting on Chris. A loose meeting Queens.
Well,
that needs to be on a t-shirt, Chris.
I'll refrain.
I'm putting it in. King of Queens, folks. We have our final 4, and I feared it would happen in the C and D region. 2 of my top 3 favorite shows of all time, or sitcoms of all time, are going head to head. But we'll get there in a second. So we have in the A region, representing the A region, we have South Park versus the B region, Golden Girls.
Okay, before we go on, what are the seeds of these 4? The original seeds.
I'm sorry. South Park was a 14 seed, which we already talked about was criminally underrated. Golden Girls was a 2 seed. Everybody Loves Raymond was a 5 seed. And King of Queens was a 14 seed. These assholes. 14 seed.
So, I mean, we've really got a picking of the whole bracket here for the most part. And maybe some of those middle seeds didn't make it through, but some high seeds, some low seeds.
As a matter of fact, we have 2 14 seeds in the final 4.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
Which shows what a travesty of seeding this bracket was.
Yeah.
Run it through Fiscus.
Yeah.
Run it through Fiscus like Star Chili, Skyline Chili.
With celery.
With sans celery. He likes celery. He's a weirdo. He likes celery in his chili.
Yeah. South Park.
South Park.
Yeah. Golden Girls.
Ooh. So 2-1 for South Park. 2-2 with Celia's vote. 2 South Parks makes it 4-2. Diane says Golden Girls 4-3. Gary, Golden Girls 4-4. Chris, Golden Girls 5-4. Brian, South Park 5-5. Samantha, Golden Girls 6-5.
Look at this excitement here on a Wednesday night on the Play It By Ear podcast.
Savannah likes celery in her chili, which should count as another South Park vote.
According to Eric, you don't even know it's in there, Savannah. Till you're picking out of your teeth 2 hours after eating.
So it looks
the
like
only
6.
connection that celery should have to chili is I like peanut butter sandwiches with my chili, and I like peanut butter on my celery. Other than that, they shouldn't even be in the same kitchen.
So 6-5 Golden Girls. Is that where we're going to end up with this thing? We got 11 people in the room now. Golden Girls versus South Park.
Trey and Matt, if you're listening, vote now.
Yeah.
Did say a vote?
What say you? What say you, people? Golden Girls versus South Park. 6-5 currently Golden Girls.
It's about ready to get caught.
Anyone who hasn't voted. Going once. Going twice.
1, 2, 3.
Fudge.
Golden Girls it is.
Golden Girls.
I mean, it's not like that's a terrible outcome, but South Park, I'm just going to go ahead and say
Oh,
Kathy Kennedy, Golden Girls.
How you doing, Kathy?
Puts the nail into the coffin
That's right.
of South Park.
You get him, good him.
Nee, Kenny, that's my papa.
I just said that at school the other day to myself. There was a pot pie being served.
All right. The matchup that I did not want to happen, but I'm glad it's happening. In the C region, we have the 5 seed Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond. Go lay down. Go lay down.
Don't talk to Celia like that.
My dog just decided to come up and just stare at me through the window and whine.
Just made my dog start barking.
Everybody loves Raymond versus King of Queens.
Raymond.
You can call me Ray. You can call me Jay. Raymond.
Samantha, you would have to meet my wife. I would not be sitting here with two unblackened eyes if I told you.
Well, do you recall earlier how my screen went black?
Yeah.
That would have been the same outcome.
All right. Man, this is so tough for me.
Oh, look at this. There's a favorite emerging.
There is. I'm going King of Queens, guys. I got to. I have to. Which, by the way, there was crossover between King of Queens and Everybody Loves Raymond. Ray was on at least one episode of King of Queens, and Doug was on at least one episode of Everybody Loves Raymond.
I love crossovers. I love when shows talk about each other. And shows that are not spinoffs of each other. Like Cheers. I think I mentioned this. St. Elsewhere had an episode where they went to Cheers.
Yeah.
Because both were set in Boston.
Yeah. St. Elsewhere, what a great show. That has to be on our drama. Eric, we could just have a medical show bracket.
Oh, yes. Yes. Speaking of medical shows, that was going to be my next thing. When Alan Alda was on ER for a bit, I think he should have been Hawkeye Pierce. That's what I think.
So too. I mean, I can remember my mom and I watching Trapper John MD when I was a Ute. I have to credit my mom for my love of medical shows.
So here's a little tidbit nugget about that. Trapper John MD is a spinoff of the movie MASH, not the TV show MASH. Because the producers of the TV show wanted a piece of Trapper John MD's profits. So they sued, and the court determined it was a spinoff of the movie and not the TV show.
Huh.
Gotcha. You know, Chris brings up a great point here, like he always does. If this matchup comes down to Jerry Stiller versus Peter Boyle, I don't know if that helped make it easier.
That's a solid point. That's a solid point. One I didn't think about. Although I do like Peter Boyle.
Festivus for the rest of us.
Okay, so let me throw this out there, and I've been known to try to sway our audience before, so I'll continue with that. Peter Boyle was great in Everybody Loves Raymond, but I don't think he would have been as great without his wife. I can't remember her name. In real life, I apologize.
Mrs. Stiller.
Mrs. No,
or Mrs. Boyle.
No, Peter Boyle. So
okay.
Peter Boyle was fantastic, but I don't know that he could have carried that role without the dynamic between he and his wife, where Jerry Stiller didn't have a wife. Jerry Stiller didn't have.
You know what's crazy?
Doris Roberts, yes.
Doris Roberts.
Wasn't Jerry Stiller and Peter Boyle's wife from Raymond were husband and wife in Seinfeld.
There you go.
Yes, they were. But so what I'm getting at is as great as Peter Boyle was, I don't think he carries that role without Doris Roberts. Jerry Stiller did not have a Doris Roberts with him in Seinfeld. He carried that by himself. I'm going King of Queens. I have to.
You know, on a side note, I will say this. I put my knowledge of television up against anybody. But I think Chris gives me a run for my money. This is this,
Ooh,
this
look
is
at Gary. Call me out. Gary. I think I am saying that.
Gary's point was you think Ray had better casting. That's what he said.
But was it a casting thing or was it a writing thing? I mean, like there was just no mom written into the King of Queens role. You know, I think she passed away. I think Carrie's mom passed away before the show. Before the premise of the show.
Which is interesting, Todd. Your love of King of Queens and your hatred of fathers being treated as bumbling fools.
Yeah.
Although I guess he wasn't
called
father
out
per
left
se.
and right.
But
Well, Everybody Loves Raymond was the same premise. I mean, Raymond was a fool with his wife. I mean, you know, and Peter Boyle kind of evened that out a little bit. He gave it as much as he got it.
Right.
And Everybody Loves Raymond. And Celia has a good point too. Jerry Stiller, Spencer's mom, was Jerry Stiller's wife in real life.
Wow.
And King of Queens. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still on King of Queens. Eric, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that other than I think Doug somehow overcame that and didn't look like such a, what do you want to call it?
Doofus.
Yeah. I didn't think he looked like such a whipped puppy.
A bubble clart.
Yeah.
Um,
I was getting ready to say, I don't just say this because she's my wife, but I would probably put Celia in there with you and Chris to give you a run for your money as well. She's typically pretty knowledgeable with the TV. I always tell her she has a mind full of just useless knowledge that is not helpful until times like this.
Well, and Celia's knowledge extends into musicals and theater and
yeah,
where
yours
I don't
is
tread
older.
into that. Yeah.
Yeah, yours predates hers, and then she kind of picks up where you left off, I think. So that's why I like having you guys on a team trip for trivia. Chris would be another very good addition to the trivia team.
Well, we need to put a team
Gary.
together one night and go
All of our
dominate
listeners.
somewhere.
I don't want to single any. All of our listeners will be fantastic trivia partners, by the way, because you guys are all very knowledgeable.
That's what we need. Okay, over Christmas break, we need to set a night to play it by ear trivia. We're going to visit somewhere and dominate.
We will dominate.
Like the Viking hordes, we shall storm.
Yeah. So if you're listening, if you're still with us, we'll put something out about that and try to get as many people as we can. That would be fun.
All right, so back to voting. I would say Raymond.
Well, it goes back to Gary's, Raymond's brother. I mean, like he carried several episodes.
Yeah. And that's a dynamic King of Queens didn't have. It didn't all fall on Ray.
Right.
And his dynamic. There was that other thing out there which added to the whole mix.
I mean, you did have some episodes that were, I don't want to say they were carried by, but they were very strongly supported by Spencer and Danny, Doug's cousin, who's his brother in real life, I believe. So there was definitely some strong supporting roles there. King of Queens was also very funny in that it was a pretty mild show, but then every once in a while there would just be a joke that was a little risque, and I liked the way they worked it in. You know what I mean? It wasn't over the top, it wasn't in your face, but just every once in a while you're like, wow, they got by with that joke, and so that's one thing I enjoyed about the writing of that.
I've lost count. I'm trying to count, and
Well, let's go back to what did we vote? Todd said King of Queens. Brady, what did you say?
I said Raymond.
Okay, you and I said Raymond. Todd said King of Queens. So there's, all right. So we got 2 more for Raymond with the Browns.
Well, you got to go up higher than that. I think Gary voted Ray right off the bat.
Oh, that's right.
I think Gary voted Ray before I even called the
Yeah,
matchup.
he did.
Yeah.
He did. So there's 3, 4, 5 Ray versus 1 for King of Queens. Celia with King of Queens. And anytime, Celia, I will defend your honor.
He is the man.
Yeah. Diane says Raymond. Samantha says King of Queens. Chris, King of Queens. Kathy, King of Queens. Brian, Raymond. I think it's Raymond.
Let me go past Chris on my comments.
Gary, I agree. This is the toughest and top matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Raymond takes it.
I think Raymond takes it by 1.
Chris says she got me on the cast of the Outsiders cast one episode. She remembered who played every. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I like to think that I can beat her in this kind of thing, but she usually defeats me, Chris. So don't feel bad.
And then Savannah, with this comment, starts a preliminary list of our medical bracket.
Chicago Med, the Resident, ER. Hoboken Enema Unit. That's I was kidding about that one.
The Good Doctor's great.
Yeah.
You're forgetting
the Great Doctor is good.
The House. You got to have House in there.
House, yes. I mentioned St. Elsewhere earlier.
Elsewhere, Trapper John MD.
Do you want to call MASH a medical a hospital show?
After MASH.
Oh Lord.
Scrubs.
Scrubs. See, and now you should bracket those in such a way that you got the Grey's Anatomies and the put them in the sappy romantic dramedy whatever bracket. Then you have the hardcore medical bracket like the Good Doctor and House and the Resident. I think the Resident kind of that would be good. I think we could do that. I may work on that.
Chris says the Good Place is better than the Good. Even with Ted Danson, Chris. You know who's not the Good Doctor? Ted Danson.
And Savannah brings up a point. You said medical dramas and Scrubs is comedy, or do we just kind of say medical? Period.
That's what I was reluctantly saying Scrubs because it's
Doogie Howser.
Oh, Doogie Howser.
The Dukester.
Yeah.
So did Ray win?
I think
Ray did win.
Man, I hate to see King of Queens go out like that, but if it can win, if it has to lose to anyone. All right, fellas, ladies, gentlemen. We have our matchup. Our championship matchup.
We have our wiener. Our wiener is coming.
Our tournament championship matchup is Golden Girls versus Everybody Loves Raymond. This is important stuff. I mean, you got all the stuff that's going on in the world. You got the presidential election. But this right here, folks, is important stuff.
Yes, it is.
Surprised Putin himself hasn't chimed in on this.
Oh, Putin's watching us like a hawk.
Yeah.
Ready to cancel us.
We'll be canceled in Russia once again.
Put Putin in that Richard Marx, John Goodman. Who else?
Bucket.
Who else do I want to fight? Jim Gaffigan.
Rex Chapman.
He's a tool. Yeah.
I think... dang, I'm lost in thoughts. I think I've got to go Raymond.
I'm going Raymond. This is where I get off the bus with the Golden Girls. I was with them, but okay. So these two shows. This is what I'm going by, and it could just be the unfair factor of I was younger with the Golden Girls, but just as far as just heartily chuckling, like laughing out loud, Raymond does that for me, or did that for me.
I will say Raymond because, again, of the depth of the show.
Yeah.
Golden Girls was I don't want to say a one-trick pony, but I mean, it was the three of them. I guess they interacted with some other people every once in a while, but Raymond had so many. Yeah, four of them. Sorry. Raymond had so many facets to the show. I would also have to go with Raymond.
Yeah. We apologize, by the way. It's funny because everybody else will just like vote, and we vote, and then try to justify why we voted.
Yeah.
So, this is a tough matchup. To me, it's a little easier than Ray versus King of Queens, but very tough matchup.
So we've got 3 Raymond votes here. Samantha makes 1 Golden Girls. Celia 2 Golden Girls. Got a split in the Brown household once again.
3-3, 3-4.
4-3 Ray. Gary Ray 5-3. Diana 5-4. She brings Golden Girls back into the fold. Chris makes it 5-5. And that's where we stand.
Samantha, I did not know that Betty's favorite snack was hot dogs and vodka. That's why she lived to be like 98 years old.
Yeah. Vodka. Wasn't she 99?
I think, yeah, something like that.
It was a few days before her birthday.
I was going to say, yeah, it was less than a month before her 100th birthday she died.
It's the George Burns effect. You know, you smoke a cigar and drink your brandy or whatever he drank every day and lives to be 100 years old. I'm more of a bourbon and burger guy, but.
So we're tied, right? Tied?
Gary has a good point there too. So I think like he's talking about what you were saying, Eric. I believe you used the term one trick pony, and he's explaining that as like the depth of it. Golden Girls with similar jokes, gags repeated.
Yeah. Do we have any other votes to break this tie?
I thought it was one. I thought Ray had one up.
Was Ray one? No, I thought it tied back up with Chris's vote.
So 2 of us. So Eric, what were you?
We were all 3 Raymond.
So 3 Raymonds. I'll count the Raymonds. You count the Golden Girls. Okay. So 3 Raymonds. Gary, make it 4 Raymonds. 5 Raymonds with the Brown split.
I've got 5 Golden Girls.
Okay. All right. It is 5. Well, anyway, did I get Gary's? I might not have gotten Gary's.
My mom just checked in on Facebook. I see where she's watching us now. Mom, do you go Golden Girls or Everybody Loves Raymond? Vote. You're the deciding vote.
How
Brady,
fitting. Mom breaks the tie, and Brady will.
Get the F word.
These are 2 of her favorites.
Yeah,
so
Brady
I'm
will
very
not
curious.
drop the F-bomb if you vote against him. Are we going to go back to that old chestnut? Is Chris going to, or is Samantha, who was it that was trying to say Brady didn't say it?
It was Samantha.
Her vote is Brady said the F word. Samantha was trying to dispute that.
She was.
What? Oh, was she Team Brady?
She was
She
Team
was.
Brady.
Oh,
She was the only one on Team Brady besides Brady.
All
We have
right.
a 12th in the room.
dude.
Mom, Golden Girls, or Raymond?
Let me directly text her.
Don't be.
Oh.
What?
What? Celia. What? You're looking at the camera like J.D. Vance was.
He broke the 4th wall a few times, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He's friends with who?
Ew. So,
Hey.
Oh.
What?
oh,
Oh.
is that a vote? Or is that a comment?
So. Oh.
Mom loves Golden Girls,
You
No.
go.
But is that-
You go ahead. I won't bother you.
but But is that
Apparently in the
is
shower when I yelled for her and came out in a bath towel. So I'll.
well, I mean, that could increase viewership of the show.
I appreciate you rushing out, but it's not that important. Sorry.
Yeah, we got 12 people. Got 12 people in the room right now. I mean,
Apparently that sounded desperate, but she is going to have to answer for her. Brady did not say the F word thing.
Gary JD Vance looked like he was auditioning for The Office. That's true. So now, Mom, is that a vote or is that a comment? Because she says love Golden Girls.
Is there a but, Mrs. Lenny?
But?
Is there a but after that?
Yeah. But
No,
Raymond.
Probably say her son.
Okay, so Celia now is clothed, and that was fast, by the way. How
And
would
the
you go
viewership just went back down.
Celia,
We did lose someone in the room when Todd said that. I'm leaving.
so Celia says that Brady did not say the F word. He said "fug." That's ludicrous. That's not even a word.
Right, because I got tongue tied. I wasn't saying it. I flubbed.
Okay, so then it was a Freudian slip, and he meant to say the F word.
No,
So it
that's
still
even worse.
counts. Exactly, it still
It was
counts.
a hybrid of two words that just schmaltzed together.
Okay. What two words is that a hybrid of?
I'll have to go back and listen to
If
it.
the first one is not the actual F word, then you're lying.
I misspoke.
There are two episodes where Brady. We need to. So we have the alleged F bomb and that was the chair making that sound episode. So I don't know which one's.
It was the chair.
Oh, I forgot that was the chair making the sound.
It was.
That was the
So
fucking
good.
chair.
Look at Gary. Brady voted Effie, buddy. That's right.
Everybody.
Goodness. Did Golden Girls win?
Well, I mean,
Mom.
Mom never said if that was a vote or a comment.
But I don't know.
If it was
she didn't say she loved everybody that was Raymond. So I think that's a vote. That's as good as a vote. Do you agree,
Yeah,
Brady? You
what-
know your mom better than we do.
Well, I will be. Oh, that's tough because I mean, Everybody Loves Raymond is one
I-
of her favorites.
I think you need to call her and we need to put her on
Yeah.
the air here.
Yep.
Well,
Go ahead and call
All right.
like the weakest link.
Yeah. Phone a friend.
okay.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
oh. Yes, bite. Vote.
You know why he's doing that?
Hello.
I think the host of the
Oh,
weakest
she's-
link-
You
she's-
are
she's-
live on air right now.
She's
we're
on the air.
We're putting your feet to the fire.
We love you, Linda.
Yes, we love you.
So, what is your favorite between who do you vote for? Everybody Loves Raymond or Golden Girls? You're now on the microphone.
Oh, Raymond.
Oh,
How about
Yes, we
that?
did. Yes, we did. So I'll go ahead and hang up. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Did
Right.
Now,
we
just
just
to make
guilt
it
shame
fun.
her into Raymond here?
now just to make this fun, I could call my mom.
So yeah, Gary, new Kyle King rule is the Linda Liming rule.
Is it back to being tied again though? Did that
No, that
No.
broke the tie. Raymond
Okay.
wins.
Because I can tell you, if I called my mom, she would say Raymond.
There you
Here's
go.
the interesting thing. I think our listeners and us, Raymond is probably the favorite. Do you think it would win when cast to a wider net of audience?
I don't know. Hey, a 17-year-old just came into the house. I'll get that viewpoint here real quick. Hey, Riley.
Why not?
Riley.
Does that mean it's going to be a tie again?
No, just for
Golden Girls.
I'm on. You might not want to walk. I mean, I'm on camera here, so just so you know. I mean, you look great, but I don't want you to. Okay. So
She doesn't care. She's
my
good.
lovely daughter.
She
Right.
wants to be on camera. She always wants to be on camera. The camera likes her.
Did you just flip the
Camera
camera
loves
off?
her.
No, I waved.
Oh, okay. If you had to pick between Everybody Loves Raymond and Golden Girls, what would you pick?
Golden Girls.
Go.
Oh, you've been summarily dismissed. Been summarily dismissed.
Yeah, that would just tie it back up. So yeah,
Yeah.
she was not. She did not count her vote.
Teenager votes don't count.
That's right. That's right.
Well, she's not a voting age, so it doesn't.
Right. Right. Yeah. There you go,
Uh,
A
yeah,
lifeline.
PJ. I don't think he'd have an opinion on that.
I'm gonna
If it's not a video game, he doesn't have an opinion on it.
Like, Dad, why you bother me? Leave me alone.
I'm gonna ask Pepper and Bruno, my pooches.
Samantha
She's a golden
says,
retriever. I know what she's gonna say.
Samantha says Golden Girls would win in a bigger audience, and Samantha, I do not doubt that. I think Samantha's right there, but I think it's because of the popularity of Betty White.
Do you
Yeah.
know what I would think? What I think would win the nationwide one, and this is gonna throw a kiss kitty into everything. I think Andy Griffith would win if you asked America.
Nah.
I think Friends would have done a lot better if we asked America.
Yeah.
I mean,
uh,
I think all you have to do to make that choice is look at how many times a day Friends is on and how many different channels.
yeah.
Andy Griffith kind of the same way. Maybe not so much anymore.
Because doesn't TBS own the exclusive rights to
Yeah, I think so.
No.
3 Facts in Life: Braves baseball, 605 wrestling, and Andy Griffith?
Chipper
Right.
Jones and then Andy Griffith. I think that as much as we had a problem with the seating of this bracket, I think it was pretty straight up. I think
Yeah.
it ended up being. I mean, I think the right sitcoms.
Pull
Gotcha.
it out.
Yeah. Well, I was on YouTube TV the other day and I had the channel guide up and there's 6 channels visible. 3 of them had Friends on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I think Friends and Seinfeld both would have done much better
Yeah.
if we took this to a broader audience.
I think my number one would have been South Park if I could pick the winner, and Seinfeld would have been the runner-up for me personally.
I mean, for me, it would have been King of Queens, Raymond, Golden Girls, top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, if you are listening, if you're still tuned in and you want to help us take this to a wider audience, if you go to your Facebook page and you click on our page, Play It By Ear Podcast, and you go click the little 3 dots over to the right. I'm trying to help you get to the part where you invite all. So if you get to that, you can invite all of your friends in one. Just you check that box, invite all. Boom, click invite, and all of your Facebook friends will get the invite to like our page, and that is how you help us take this to a broader audience.
Also, if you like YouTube, you can like and subscribe to our podcast as well on our channel. So that way you'll get a notification when we're on and when we have new episodes up and running. All right. So Celia makes a good point as well. I think if you'd asked this 20 years ago, Andy Griffith would have won by
Yeah.
a landslide. That's probably-
20 years ago, dear.
Yeah, I would say she's right because like it was considered, I think, at one point the quintessential American sitcom. And
Andy
it
Griffith.
was, yeah, I mean, even
Well-
before TV show T-shirts were cool, you could go to Rolling Stone magazine and buy a hot pink shirt with Floyd the Barber on it that said Pink Floyd. And that was like one of the first ones I remember.
I'll give. I think it's a little further. I think maybe 25, 30 years ago. But I also think that could be said about 30 years ago. Happy Days or a show like that would have done much better.
Well, how about I Love Lucy?
Yeah.
There you go.
Or
Honey
up
Boo.
until 10 years ago,
Yeah.
The Cosby Show.
Cosby
Right.
Show. Yeah.
Right.
Which is funny because as teachers, we kind of have a front row seat of that slide happening. I'll give you an example. So whenever I talk about dynamic characters versus static characters in class, I don't mean to get all boring language arts teacher on everybody here, but if I'm talking, you are a history teacher, so you definitely know the Don. But I'm both. So what does that tell you? So I always talk about with dynamic character. To me, the two great examples of dynamic characters are Scrooge and the Grinch. And so 12 years ago when I started teaching, usually at least probably over half of my class had seen some version of A Christmas Carol. This year, in both my rooms, I had 2 in each class, 2 out of 18, 2 out of 19.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Now, funny thing is, the Grinch had started to slide, but now the Grinch has made a big roaring comeback. I don't know if it's maybe because of the latest Grinch output, and that but I noticed that's kind of same way with theme. I always used to use Wizard of Oz with theme, and now like very few of my students in 4th grade have seen the Wizard of Oz. So like it makes it very difficult when you're trying to connect it to things like that. So I think that's something to be said about this bracket, how different it would have gone 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's coming your way, Todd. There is going to be a reboot of the greatest Christmas pageant ever. So instead of looking like a Hallmark movie, it's going to be a real budgeted movie, and I think that's going to go over like gangbusters.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, Chris, I say let's forget the fact that 20 years ago was 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not all about that.
No.
Gary says he could invite all his friend with one click.
Good already.
Celia reads the greatest best Christmas pageant ever. Is that what the official title is?
Best or greatest? Yeah. Best.
I think it's best.
Yeah.
Best. Reads that with her kids every year. All right. I know we had intended to play a game. We're 2 hours in.
Yeah. Well, this bracket's done finally. This bracket,
Yes.
bracket has been a huge time.
But I think it kept people's interest. I think.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, earbuds, our loyal listeners, was it too much, or was this so compelling it kept you coming back? It was must-see TV.
Yeah, we have gone the way of the bracket. We've actually we started going the way of the bracket probably in the last 100 episodes or so. And we like them, but we can make sure we keep them shorter. We can do more of our own brackets, like we talked about, where we can have a little more control of the say in things. I mean, that might involve a little more homework on our part, but
right. Okay.
Can I put this to a poll too? Sorry, this is randomly. I'd forgotten somebody mentioned they were laughing at one of our listeners was laughing how we kind of side mentioned like TV crushes. We need to do a TV crushes episode, but we talked about it before. But then we said, does people really want to listen to us three talk about which actresses we like? And yes,
I will say, I have to pat myself on the back here. I typically am very, very good about throwing in both. I typically will bring up when I think that a male with a particular heartthrob or whatever. I think it's just the way if you do it tastefully. But also people like Eric mentioned a good point earlier. You have to remember, we were younger then. Like I mentioned my Small Wonder crush. Well, you got to remember when Small Wonder was out, I was probably 10?
Right.
9, So same with Punky Brewster. Punky Brewster was my all-time crush until Kelly Kapowski came onto the scene. But I was Punky Brewster's age. I mean, so it's not creepy. It's but we have to remind people of that. Like we're talking about we're talking about our youth.
Yeah, we're the same age as these people.
My two dads. I mean, you had the good-looking, tall, bearded, cool haircut dad. I mean, versus Paul Reiser. I mean, come on.
Or Dick Van Patten.
Dick Van Patten.
And apparently Samantha and her crush on Ted Danson.
Well, there's that.
We're not the only
Yeah.
ones. Samantha, speaking, I didn't even see your comment there, Chris. Samantha says Ted Danson is #1 seed in the male bracket.
Gary, the podcast about nothing came dangerously close to being about something for the past month. Well, that's
Yeah,
true.
that's true.
Yeah.
We gotta watch
Well,
ourselves.
Yeah, we got to do something about that.
I would like to propose a topic. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
Thank you, Savannah. She says you guys keep us coming back regardless of topics.
I do believe we should, the week before election day, do a lighthearted election-based podcast. However, I think we should do more like past type things. I think it could be fun because especially with you two and your knowledge of your historical knowledge, and I think we can go way back into some
We could get some Millard Fillmore on the air.
some George Fillmore, some Franklin Pierce.
All right, so on that note, and then this is not heavy by any means. I was talking to our school resource officer today, and we were talking about the debate, and I said, so J.D. Vance has a beard. The last presidential or vice presidential candidate and or person to hold the office to have a beard. Do you know?
But it was like 80 years ago, wasn't it?
Well,
Oh, no longer
no
than that.
farther back than that. Theodore Roosevelt had mutton chops. William Howard Taft had the, I think you would have to go pre-McKinley. I bet it would have to be. It would have to be Garfield, Grover Cleveland. It would have to be Garfield, Benjamin Harrison, Rutherford B. Hayes area.
Benjamin Harrison or Garfield is what I was thinking.
Benjamin Harrison is the correct answer. And that was 1889 to 1893. So we're talking over 100 years ago
Yeah.
with that.
Well, but I think the one thing that's like I don't think either of the three of us, I can't talk. Any of the three of us really like hide our political preferences. We don't bring them into the show a lot. I mean, like we also don't hide them. But I think we can. That's why I think an episode would be fun to see how we can maybe not try to be biased, but also just call out the silliness for everything. And it's funny you mentioned that, Eric, because this is exactly what I'm talking about. So like Politico Mag and Politico, did you see what their take was on the and it says here, so Vance is the first White House wannabe to wear facial hair in 80 years. That's where I got the 80 years. Research indicates that voters see beards as more masculine. That can be positive to some, but to others, especially women, it can be negative, conveying aggression and opposition to feminist ideals.
Well, and
that
on
is where politics have become a joke. Like,
well, and on that note, though, I think the beard thing has to do it's psychology, because someone who has a beard is deemed to be less trustable than someone who doesn't. And that's why candidates didn't have them. But here's another question for you, and I bet you get it wrong. All right, I won't even ask you for.
That's a safe bet, Eric. I mean, come on.
Well, but I won't even ask you the actual number. So, as far as presidents who had beards, do you think that number is above or below 10?
Below. Grant, Garfield,
I'm saying above.
Hayes,
Lincoln.
I think that's it. It's below 10.
Chester Arthur. No.
He had the.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's above though.
Millard Fillmore looked like the creature from the Black Lagoon. He had the,
Millard Millmore.
Fillard Millmore.
Yeah.
Five?
Five.
Do I have another
Five.
hand up there somewhere?
Five, and they were all within, I'm trying to remember exact years. They were all within 30 years of each other.
Well, okay. So-
Lincoln was the first,
Huh.
and Harrison was the last. So within that 30 years, there were 5, and that was it.
So now I'm going to throw this at you. I don't think vanity was as big of a factor back then. It is now. And I'm going to tell you why JD Vance wears a beard. Because JD Vance has a round face. JD Vance has actually lost some weight. If you look at some older, so his beard is strictly to square up his face. That's why to where I don't think back then that was the reason why people, you know what I mean? Like, so I think that comes into play as well. That's why he's doing it. I mean, I have no inside. I haven't talked to JD, although I did drive by his house the other day, but I haven't, like, I have no inside, but I feel that's probably why, because he never used to wear a beard. And now he is. Now he's lost weight, but he still has a very round face. And I think that the beard squares it up for him.
Right.
I could think of 3 presidential mullets. In fact, a couple skullets.
Unless you look at that poster I have where they all have mullets. Have I shown you that
Yeah,
poster?
yeah.
Yeah.
But like legit, like I think James K. Polk and I think John Tyler, they had like the receding skullet mullet.
Skullet mullet.
So there's, because I was laughing about it, because I was thinking about your presidential mullet poster, but then like, wait a minute, 3 of them really did.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at some of the comments as we go off on our political tangent here. But see, that's what I think. I think we could have an episode where we talk politics, but we don't
preach politics.
But Samantha says that Ted Danson is sleeping outside.
So say it sounds a little creepy.
Yeah, that does sound creepy. So, but Chris, you're still safe, man. If he's still outside, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris has an uncle that's still writes in Ronald Reagan every election.
Gary Lincoln wore facial hair to avoid any hint of a round face.
Is that true, Gary? Because he was pretty gone.
It was in the early 2000s or late 90s. Bart Simpson received over 1,000 votes. Right in.
Really?
Yeah.
Chris.
See, I
only presidential candidate to be a WWE Hall of Famer.
Yeah. No, I think Lincoln's problem was the opposite. I think he had a really long, thin face, and he needed some breadth and girth. Well,
and Lincoln is like the first example you see of that toll that the president takes. Now we see those like before and after pictures. You know what I mean? Like when it shows Obama is young and kind of fresh and handsome as he looked like compared to 8 years later and things like that. But Lincoln definitely aged terribly as he was president. I mean, obviously
Chris?
People in hindsight, they think he was very sickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, Abraham Lincoln's in the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
What?
Yes, he was undefeated. He had 1 defeat in all of his matches. I'm serious. They said he was deceptively strong.
Oh no, I believe that.
But he is in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. I'm gonna fact check myself.
That he was not to be messed with. But Brady, let's be honest. If you're 6'4" in the mid 1800s, you were probably a pretty.
That's the equivalent of being 7 feet tall today.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you see that college ball player that's 7'9"?
Yeah, or the 13-year-old at 7'4".
Yeah, 7'9". My gosh.
In 1992, President Lincoln was recognized by the National Wrestling Hall of Fame as an outstanding American in the sport.
How about that?
Yeah, I'll have to take a picture. I have to take a picture of my presidential poster that I have in the basement and share it here on our podcast page. It's pretty hilarious.
But not the WWE Hall of Fame with the Macho Man. Ooh, yeah.
I've been thinking about running again. Oh, yeah.
Randy Poffo.
But
played
would
in
be fun.
played in the Reds minor league system.
That's right. I think that would be fun if we put together a non-preaching, political, humorous,
Fun stuff.
episode. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm probably still going to take my jabs, but still.
Well, that would be us going out on a limb. We have to discuss it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just talked politics for the last 20 minutes, so it's not.
We're talking
not
about
above or below it.
mullets.
It's true.
It's not like we're getting heavy hitting political issues like why it should be a constitutional amendment for men to go without shirts in public if it's not the pool
Yeah.
or the.
Yeah. Especially from Georgetown.
All right. Anything else, gentlemen? A
Gentlemen,
little mini political topic there. All right. If you want us on audio, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and the iHeartRadio app. Most anywhere else you might find those audio podcasts. Video, we're also on Spotify, YouTube. Search our Play It By Ear podcast channel. Also like and subscribe to that channel. And we are also on Twitch.
Twitch.
Social media is Facebook, X, and Instagrams. Search Play It By Ear podcast on each platform, and you can interact with us by email at admin@playitbyearpodcast.com. And once again, we'll put out the call for a voice message. Click the link at your audio podcast provider. Todd.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Samantha, for the hair compliments.
Yes, made our days.
It did make our days. That's all I have to say. Who day?
That's all we need.
Who day?
All right. Out we go.
Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear. Thanks for listening to the Play It By Ear podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter at Play It By Ear Pod 2, and our website at anchor.fm/Play It By Ear podcast. Thanks again, and join us next time as we play it by ear.